Hello everyone, welcome to our channel all about economics. I'm Pragya and today we are going to discuss about public goods. Before starting the topic, I request you all, if you haven't subscribed the channel, please subscribe it. Now, coming to the topic, public goods. A public good is also called collective good or social good. It was defined by Samuelson as one which all enjoy in common in the sense that each individual's consumption of such a good leads to no subtraction from any other individual's consumption of that good. That means if one person is consuming a public good, it will not affect the consumption patterns of other individuals. If we compare it to the private good, we can see that when private good is consumed, its consumption by one person does affect the consumption pattern of other. For example, a book when it purchased by a person, it is non available through the second one, so the consumption pattern of other person is altered when the good is private. But in the case of public good, it is not altered, the consumption pattern doesn't change. So, in the case of private good, the total consumption is the sum of each individual's consumption. So, for example, if there are two people, A and B, then the total consumption will be the consumption of both A and B added, like XA plus XB. The both consumption are added to get the total consumption, that is XC. But if we talk about the public goods, then each individual may consume all of the good. For example, street light. If we live in the same locality, the street light I am getting is the same the street light you are getting. So basically the consumption of both are same, so the total consumption is also the same. So GC is equals to GA equals to GB. The total amount consumed is the same for each individual. So public goods example are like defense expenditure and street lights, lighthouses, and official stats. So basically the stats provided to us by NSSO is the public good, we can all use it. So now let's talk about the two features of public good. So first one is non-rival consumption and second one is non-excludability. Now let's talk about it. First one is non-rival consumption. So, non rival in consumption means that the consumption of one individual does not reduce the benefits derived by all other individuals. That is, the consumption of one doesn't alter the consumption pattern of others. We can understand this by taking example of rival consumption. For example, let us take a bread. If I am consuming that bread, then you cannot consume that same bread. Fine, so that bread is consumed by me and it is reducing the benefit which you could have derived if you have consumed that bread. So it is a private good, it is rival in nature. But if we are talking about public good, then the public goods are non-rivalry. For example, national defense. So safety, what I am getting is same for you, it is not affected, the benefit is not reduced, this is same for both of us and all of us exactly. So the public good is non-rival in nature. Now let us talk about the implication of this characteristic. So the implication is that when considering aggregate demand for the good, individuals' demand curves must be added vertically rather than horizontally. So let's see it through the diagram. We'll make on x-axis we'll take quantity, on y-axis we're taking prices, and marginal cost curve is positively sloped, and there are two demand curves, DA and DB. So we have assumed that there is no problem with the revelation of the demand curves. So we can see that in the case of private good, the demand for A and the demand for B, both the demands are added horizontally. That is, the quantity that is demanded by A on demand A, DA curve, and the quantity QB that is demanded by B on DB curve. We add the both these quantities. QA plus B is the total quantity produced, MC is the marginal cost, and P is the price charged. So basically at the same price the quantity is being sold, and there are different quantities purchased by different buyers. So we can see that the marginal cost is equals to price. Here in at the equilibrium, qa plus p is the quantity, and that is the marginal benefit of a and the marginal benefit of b. So the equation for the condition that is optimal, Pareto optimal, is mcx equals to px equals to mba equals to mbb. That is marginal cost of x is equals to prices of x, that is equals to marginal benefit derived by a and marginal benefit derived by b. Now let us talk about the public good. So quantity on x-axis, prices on y-axis, and MC is positively sloped. Here the two demand curves are D dash A and D dash B. So in the case of public good, the quantity is same for all. We do not choose different quantities. Okay, so there are different prices that consumers pay. For example, here are two, A and B, so there will be two different prices which they are willing to pay. Okay, so for example, in this diagram the quantity produced is q and d dash a. The consumer a is ready to give the amount ta, and d dash b, in the demand curve of b, the consumer is ready to pay tb. So the total price is p, which is ta plus tb, that is the price of the good, and these are divided between the two people a and b, and the total quantity is one only, that is q. So basically, if there is some good provided by the government for the public sector, so then the tax is paid by the individuals according to the marginal benefit they receive from that. So the equation here for Pareto optimality is mcg equals to mba plus mb, that is marginal cost of the good is equals to the marginal benefit of a plus marginal benefit of b. So here marginal benefits are added. So it's basically tells that the total optimal quantity to produce is that amount where the appropriate sum of the marginal benefits of individuals equals the marginal cost of production. And second thing, that each individual should be taxed according to the marginal benefit that each derives from the public good. So this is the characteristics of non-rivalness in consumption, and this tells us how the Pareto optimal conditions are achieved in the case of public goods. Now let us talk about the second feature of public good, that is non-excludability. So non-excludability means that no individuals can be denied to use the product. Consumption of one individual cannot exclude the others to use that same good. In the case of private goods, the market may operate such that consumption of the good may be contingent upon payment of a price for it. An individual may be denied consumption of the good unless he is able to establish property rights to the good. However, with public goods, if the good has been provided by one individual, he has no sanction to prohibit or restrict consumption of that good. So basically, for example, if we take a private good, suppose we take an apple. So if you buy some apple and consume them, you are excluding all other people who could not buy the apple. They if they would have paid the price, then you would have excluded from buying that good. So in the public good, this does not happen. For example, official stats, if you're using the official stats, then it is then also possible for all other people to use the same stats. So it is non-excludable in nature. You cannot exclude others from using that product. So because of this absence of excludability, people do not reveal their preferences because they want to free ride. Free ride means they don't want to pay for the product, but they also know that they can't be excluded to use that product. For example, if the good is street light and people are asked to pay for it, so they know that if all other would be paying, the street light will be there to consume, but they won't have to pay it if they don't reveal their preferences that they want it. So this is the case of free riding, that you are not able you are not made to pay for the product, but you are using that product. But because of this free riding problem, that is the mentality of all the people, that they don't want to reveal their preferences, and hence the good is not provided. If we see that the people are not, if nobody is paying anything, how will be the good provided? So let us understand this through a payoff matrix. So assume that an individual is one of many who would benefit to the extent of $10 if a private good were provided. She is asked to contribute only $5 to its provision. So basically there are two strategies that basically if individual either contributes or free rides, and with the same thing others contribute or others free ride. So if both of them contribute, that individual is also contributing and others are also contributing, the good is provided. And if nobody is contributing, then good is not provided. If either of them, any one of them is contributing, then the good is provided. Now let us see the payoff matrix. So if individuals contribute and others also contribute, then both get the good, and the payment is only $5. So they get the good of worth $10, and they are paying $5. So um, their net return is $5. So $5 is the return here. Now if the individual free rides but other contributes, then because the good is worth $10, so their return is $10 and they're not paying anything. Okay, if individual contributes and others free ride, then obviously if only single person is contributing and others are not contributing, then the good is not provided, and the return is minus $5, because they had to pay from the pocket $5, but the good is not even provided. Now if individual also free rides and others also free ride, both free ride, then the good is obviously not provided and the return is $0. So we can see that if both contribute, then the return will be $5, and this should be the best strategy, that everyone should contribute. But the Nash equilibrium is $0. So it is $0, because if each individual faced with the decision to contribute voluntarily to a public good, they choose the best payoff, that is they want to free ride. They want to free ride and they think that others will contribute and they will get the good worth $10 without paying anything. So their best strategy is free riding. Although if they have contributed, they would have paid only 5 and got a good worth rupees $10, but they don't use that, and they basically, because of free riding, don't get the product. And here's the rationale for government intervention. Government intervene in these cases, and it is arguable that it is in the everyone's interest to pay taxes to finance the production of the good. So basically this was the second feature of the public good, that is non-excludability. Now we discussed about two features of public good: non-rival and non-excludability. Now we'll be discussing how public and private goods are uh, distributed, differentiated, considering these two features. So let us take that goods are excludable or non-excludable, and either rival or non-rival. So basically if good is rival and excludable, then it is a pure private good. A private good is rival also and excludable also, that if you are consuming it, you are changing the consumption pattern of others, because others can't consume the same product. And it is excludable also, because if you are buying that thing, that is not now possible for others to buy the same product. So it is rival and excludable in nature, private good. Now if there is rival nature but non-excludable, that is the goods that are rival in nature but they are non-excludable, they are called impure public goods. For example, common property resources. So they are rival in nature because people who go there, suppose the goats are grazing there, so if they are grazing there, they are changing the consumption pattern of other goats, because they are not getting the same land, they are grazing it. But this is non excludable, because they cannot restrict others to use the same land. So common property resource is an example of this kind of impure public good. And the solution here is well defined property rights. So if there is the well defined property rights, then this can be uh, is it's a solution of that. Now if the good is non-rival in nature but excludable, it is called impure public goods, like movies, highways, clubs. Look, it is non-rival in nature. That is, if you're consuming it, the consumption pattern of others is also the same. For example, movies, the same movie you are watching, the same movie all others are watching. But it is excludable, because if you have bought the ticket, then the seat is reserved for you and other person cannot buy it. So there are limited tickets, and if the show is houseful, then other people do not get to watch the same movie. So it is excludable but non-rival in nature. Now a non-rival and non-excludable, this is the public good that we discussed in the whole video. So this is it. And if you like the video, please like the video, subscribe the channel, and if you have any doubts, please mention them in the comment section. You can also follow us on Instagram. The link has been attached in the description of the video. Thank you so much.